Hello, welcome to our channel. It is 1 September 2025. It's going to get really weird, really strange, really unsettling starting now. Now is the time that things are going to start to happen. We've talked about this for years, and now we're seeing all the things that God has said are going to happen are going to happen. So hang on to your hats, folks, because it's going to get really weird really fast as the demons are challenged across the planet. And each little demonic kingdom tries to rise up and create their own little kingdom, countering Satan or Lucifer because he can't control them all. So hang on, it's going to get really strange, really weird, really unsettling. You'll get that knot in your stomach. People's behavior, everything is going to get really strange. When things get unsettling, when banks start doing weird things like their entire banking system is underground and a little sunspot and suddenly your account gets erased, we invest in noble gold because we know that when we come out of the backside of this, we still have gold and silver. The digital money, when you put your money in a bank, it automatically goes to DCIS. You don't own your money. So when you go into a bank and you're 75 years old and you want to withdraw $500, they question you. What do you want the money for? What are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to buy food. Well, is that sure what you got? I mean, I've talked to so many people in their 70s that they go into the bank and they harass them like that. I just walk in and say, can you see how skinny I am? I want to buy a bunch of cocaine. So we keep our bank accounts pretty clear. We have a couple of bank accounts. If something happens to me, it'll pay our mortgage and everything for 2 months. So, but we have most of our stash not in cash, but offsite in gold and silver. I just called Noble Gold. I've never gotten a fake coin from them. Never will I ever get a fake coin from them. Anyway, first of all, packages. I got this bottle of sulfur pills from Poland, and I had to sign for it. Many of the packages from Mexico, Taiwan, China are being held up because these countries were violating federal law and shipping things under the radar in little packages, ex minimis. And that loophole has been closed. So Mexico, China, so many countries now are no longer shipping to the United States. So if you ordered something on eBay and Amazon, and if it comes from overseas, you might wait 4 to 5 or 6 months until somebody decides what the rules on ex minimis shipping is. And the weather has gone nuts. If you look at spaceweather.com, which I do quite often, the sun is now hitting us with massive sunspots. We're going to have a G3 magnetic storm here in a few minutes. It's going to take out, mostly the Earth faces the sun, and the center of the Earth gets hit. We're kind of in the summer, so we're kind of facing the sun here. But we're going to have internet outages. We're going to have communication outages. That's why I say if the internet goes out and now remember, almost all of the banking system in the entire government is now underground, Operation Devolution. So if your bank account gets erased, it's because they want to erase you. Some people want to erase us and some don't. So right on the razor blade of, we go down the razor blade of life, you know. Life is like a sewer. What you get out of it depends on what you put into it. We're putting a lot into it to save the planet, and that makes a lot of people happy and a lot of people sad. So the weather's going to get really strange, and people are noticing. When I built my solar system back in 2002, I notched a piece of wood and screwed it to the side of the building to show when and where the sun comes up, what angle the sun will be at. Well, nothing makes any sense anymore. Sun ain't rising and setting in the same place, and people are realizing that. And that's causing the Earth to go to and fro. Now, what's going to happen is, this month starting now, we've seen when we started on this show, there were 20 volcanoes erupting. Now there's 46 currently erupting. We're going to see that number increase as the earthquakes increase. And if we keep the United States from starting new earthquakes, like in the Kamchatka Peninsula, it'll slowly increase. Unless, of course, the United States won't. Sorry, they're still spraying us. We'll talk about that in a minute. NASA and the Farmer's Almanac warn of an early winter that's going to be wet. except in the Southwest. NASA will continue to spray to destroy the Southwest and dry it out to kill Americans. And we're going to see disease outbreaks. Not only are we being sprayed with mosquitoes from Bill Gates, thanks to your taxpayer dollars, our taxpayer dollars, we're also being sprayed with chemicals that are going to cause massive, quote, flu outbreaks. They'll want to vaccinate you for everything. So hang on, folks. As the earthquakes and volcanoes erupt, get more and more, and we're going to see the courts, the demons, the satanic priests doing more and more strange rulings. There was a ruling that one of the appeals courts said, all tariffs are illegal. Since when do the courts set policy? Since Obama appointed them. And since there are no penalties for violating United States Code 18, Trump won't arrest anybody. This is the most arrest-free. He's just letting everybody slide. Let there be chaos. Another court ruled that as Trump hundreds and hundreds of Guatemalans, in fact, thousands of them, were shipped in the United States with coyotes to try to sell them into the United States, and they gathered them up and they're going to ship them home. Well, the court blocked the shipping home of these children. The parents are demanding their children get sent home. They were kidnapped, and a United States Obama judge said, we can't return kidnapped children. This is beyond bizarre. That's a violation of United States Code 18. The judge needs to be immediately arrested, but Homeland Security won't do that. We don't want to arrest anybody killing and murdering. Why killing and murdering is an okay crime, according to Pam Bondi. And energy prices are going to spike. Since Biden closed hundreds of coal-fired power plants across the country, small ones, large ones, since he went on to tear down the dams that make power tirade. We're going to save the rivers. No, you didn't. You just tore down a bunch of dams and destroyed the electricity rates. We're going to see power rates go up and up and up. What's interesting is the power rates, they're still only paying 1 to 1.5 cents per kilowatt hour, but they're charging you 20, 30, 40 cents, 50 cents a kilowatt hour. It's the power companies that have been bought by BlackRock that are making bank on you. We have one power company, BlackRock, and Trump won't use the anti-monopoly laws to break it up, so they're jacking up your power prices. Has nothing to do with the wholesale power prices, but you will see blackouts because we don't make enough power anymore. Thanks to Biden, he tore down a lot of the power rates. We're going to see, that may increase in the near future. If the United States does not go on a massive dam building project where we build hundreds of small dams, thousands. We have 90,000 dams in America. And I think only 1% of them are used. 90? What the friggin'? Why don't we use all the dams for power? Why? Because our leaders in the White House, who are working from underground, don't want to see America survive. It doesn't seem like that, does it? Well, we'll find out what happens. Arthur Daniel Midlands is now lowering the price they're paying farmers. So they're shutting farmers down so large conglomerates from China can go in and buy the farmland, shut them down. And then the agricultural products produced in America will be less and less and less. And you'll see food prices continue to spike this year because Trump won't go after the monopoly of Arthur Daniel Midlands. And we'll see the military across the board initiating martial law. We're not going to follow the law of land warfare. It's very clear that we're not going to follow the law of land warfare. We're going to come up with our own military law, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. They're starting in Portland, Seattle, hopefully Tacoma, but I don't see any troops on the road. They're going to go to San Francisco and LA. They're going to start rounding up the illegals. They're not going to go after the governors or the councilmen or the council of 5 in every state that appoint the governors. Our vote is meaningless. They're not going to go after them. They're not going after the high-hanging fruit that started this mess. They're going after the low-hanging fruit. Why? Because that's what Trump has ordered. Don't arrest the governors. Even though they're committing treason and murder, don't go after the governors. So we're going to see militia law all across this country. And then because of the militia law, we'll see huge financial upheavals. The United States is bringing in $400 billion a month. $200 billion through loans, $200 billion by fleecing the public. and they're spending $1 trillion a month. This does not include the $2 trillion a month they're spending for refugees. Trump won't stop. Trump won't stop. He will not stop the refugee pay. So we're spending $1 trillion a month, plus $2 trillion that we make up out of thin air. He's spending $1 trillion a month and bringing in $200 billion and $200 billion from loans. The other $600 billion is being made up by Federal Reserve notes. Nobody's buying our Treasury bonds anymore. We're down to $50 billion a week in sales. Nobody wants U.S. bonds. Nobody wants them at all. Half the world is now meeting in China. And they're saying in this decision meeting, half the world is saying we don't want U.S. dollars. Half of the world's population is, small countries like Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Kazakhstan are saying we don't want the U.S. dollar. Little countries like Kazakhstan are rejecting the U.S. dollar. So we're going to see some real financial trouble in the near future. Europe is on the verge of collapse. 1 October is the deadline for all the debts. And Europe doesn't think they can pay the pensions. France doesn't think they can pay the pensions, government pensions, nor does Germany come the 1st of October. So we're looking at a potential European dollar collapse. And then, of course, the U.S. Dollar Corporation owns the Euro Dollar Corporation. Everything's a corporation, folks. And, of course, once the Euro dollar goes down, the U.S. dollar will go down. And then we'll be able to make parts in America and sell them around the world. But your standard of living will go as prices go through the roof. You will now become slaves. Anyway, it's going to be a strange month. Hang on to your hats. You're going to see more and more outlets advertising and getting less and less money. You're going to see more and more colleges giving tuition away to illegal aliens and non-whites and raising the tuition on the military by 25%. So your wife's a black female, she's going to Pierce College for free, but if you're in the military and you're black, you pay 125% of whatever the tuition is because you are in the military and you don't deserve cut rates. Anyway, is that discriminatory? Oh yeah. We went out for 1.5 bags of groceries. 1.5 bags, $246. For normal groceries, groceries are 150 times higher than when I was a kid. We finally bought some meat in that. Groceries are skyrocketing. $245 for 1.5 bags of food. It cost me $7.50 when I was a kid. I remember we came home with 10 bags and it was exactly $50. And I remember saying, Dad, $5 a bag of groceries. That's good. And those bags are twice as big as the bags we have today. God bless. Thank you very much. And hang on, because it's going to be the most exciting month of your life. Food, water, toilet paper, ammunition, heat, communications, gold and silver, and medicines. I don't drink, but my wife always says schnookies. God bless. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.